tonight. All right. Did we get it started there? Recording? Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is Michael Dorsey here in Alpharetta, Georgia. I apologize for a little bit of technical startup here, little delay, but just excited. A lot of great things happening. We're a couple weeks out from our big conference back in Oklahoma City 2 weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, and just excited about where we are and where we're going. A lot of great things are happening. We got a lot of great incentives. We got a lot of great information, and it was just a motivating event. And for me, whenever I attend things like that, those types of events, and I've done it for the better part of 30 years now, with my career with Legal Shield, is just every time I leave, it's like, I feel like we do this at events. Like when you go to an event, you may be in Legal Shield, but when you leave that event, Legal Shield is in you. And so that concept is such an important concept when it comes to getting around and feeding on the energy of the people that you're around. But it's also, we talked about it before, like on Wednesday night. Make sure, by the way, you're on Wednesday night. We have our leadership development Zoom that we'll be doing at 8 o'clock at levelupgrowthnetwork.com. Somebody might want to put that in the chat. But every time we leave, it's like you want to make sure that you remember the feeling and the commitment that you made to yourself. And maybe you held yourself accountable by having a workout partner or something of that nature. And you hold yourself accountable. But when we leave those events, you want to make sure that you continue that commitment and that definition, as we've said before many times, that we do the thing we said we would do long after the mood we set it in has passed. And I think it's very important to make sure that we are, hang on.
Michael, you're muted.
Yeah.
You're good now.
Yeah, I got dropped off, but anyways, I don't know what happened there. So yeah, Level Up Growth Network. Thanks, Chuck Baker, for doing that. But yeah, just making sure you stay committed, you stay true to your commitment and what you said you would do while you're at that event. So tonight I want to talk about like maintaining discipline. I want to talk about some creating and maintaining discipline, because it's like motivation gets you going, but discipline keeps you growing. And so understanding that there's some things that we all need to do. It's like the most successful people I've seen in any area of life have all had one thing in common, and that's been discipline. It's like they create their day, they create their success, they do the right things, and they understand that building business or a championship, ring, or when they're on a team, on a professional sports team or whatever, they have a discipline. So, I was just thinking about some things the other day, and I was just writing it down as I was taking notes, and I was thinking back to the conference. I was rereading some of the notes I took in Oklahoma City, and I just wanted to share some things that kind of like were on my mind, because I was asked to do the call tonight because Larry, Don, and Bill are all traveling, so they're not able to get on. But I did want to jump on and just talk about the 10 keys to creating and maintaining discipline. And I think it's important for each of us to remember these when we are working on the business. And one thing to remember is to remember to give yourself a little bit of a break when maybe the business isn't happening fast enough for you. And I can just tell you, at the level that I'm at, it's not happening fast enough for me. I don't think that's ever a thing. I think it's always something that you're constantly pursuing if you want to continue to build. So I think that when you stay focused on helping people, and you stay focused on helping people with our great services and our opportunity, that's the main thing. That's the purpose-driven part of the journey, and the journey is the main thing. But to stay consistent for a long period of time, here I am 30 years in to the business. 28 of those have been full-time. Actually, 28 and a half of those have been full-time, or really the only thing that I do outside of investing and stuff like that. But I will tell you that that requires discipline. And, I have a lot of respect for people that have that kind of consistency, and they're committed to their why. So you guys have always heard me talk about knowing what you want, knowing why you want it, formulating the plan and believing it's going to happen, and taking action upon that belief. So let's talk about the 10 keys of creating and maintaining discipline tonight. First, number one is setting clear goals. Set goals, set the right goals, write them down. A couple of things that I do is I read my goals into my recorder on my phone, and then I put my AirPods in at night and in the morning, and I listen to myself telling myself the goals, because I read them into my phone, and so therefore I can stay focused on what I need to do on a daily basis. So, and they call it SMART goals, SMART, and that's really simple, because it's basically, when you have a defined SMART goal, it's number one, the stands for specific, knowing exactly what it is that you want, knowing why you want that. Okay, so be specific about it, have it measurable, know what quantify it, know what you need to do, whether it's the number of prospects you need to do in order to get a presentation, and then another number of presentations you need to do in order to market a membership or enroll a new associate. So making sure it's measurable, and make sure that you have an achievable is make sure it's achievable. And it is in this business. I mean, I was looking at the profiles of success earlier, and if you guys haven't gotten a copy of that, order one. It's definitely worth it. There's almost 400 people in there. 400 people in there that are earning $50,000 a year or more, all the way up to over $1 million a year. And to me, that just tells me, 400 something people that are in there. And it's amazing, because we got a lot of folks that are earning that retirement income. So it's achievable. Anything you set out to do, you can achieve it, because we're not asking permission to have success at Legal Shield. It's already happening. Make sure it's relevant, which is the R is relevant, and then having a time, to make sure there's a time set, like by the time, like maybe your birthday, or maybe by next conference, maybe by Jamaica, or whatever it is. Make sure you set those goals on a monthly basis. It's Performance Club, right? So that shouldn't be a goal. Once you achieve it, it should become your standard. And so, I'm big on that. So setting clear goals is the first thing I was thinking about, like when we're forming that discipline, because when we know what we want, it gives us that motivation to continue through with our commitment towards that. And then number two would be develop a daily routine, and make sure that you're focused on a regular basis. Like I know what I'm doing tomorrow already tonight. And I think that most successful people already have their days and weeks planned ahead. And we understand that we're also flexible and agile, so that in case things change along the way, you're able to just kind of, pivot and then get back on track. So just develop a regular routine. That daily routine your success is found in your daily routine. It's determined by that. It's the waking up, not knowing what you're going to do first, that's going to take that it's like an error in judgment that's not going to help you get where you want to be. Okay. So have your daily routine developed. I don't care what it is, what it looks like. For me, it's about making a list of different things that I need to accomplish on a daily basis. And it can be as simple as this. What's great is having a list and then checking it off. That's kind of cool, because it's like you've accomplished it, whether it's 10 push-ups or 10 calls or whatever it is, but you're able to check it off or cross it off the list, even if it's the same thing you do every day, but you move it to the next sheet of paper. Or like Larry talked about on our leadership development Zoom, he uses Remarkable, which is a tablet that goes over to and it syncs up with his laptop and his iPad and his phone and stuff like that. But the way he talks about that is that number three is to prioritize that list. So when we're setting our goals, we're developing our daily routine, we make that list. It's a part of our schedule, because in our business, we're all independent, right? And so it's important for each of us to know, what we're doing on a day-to-day basis, and we need to track it, and we need to make sure that we are, we stick to that schedule, because our schedule is our boss. That's pretty much really what is determined by that, what we're doing on a daily basis. So, and then prioritize those tasks. It's like do the most important things first. Do the thing that you don't want to do first. It's like Brian Tracy with the book Eat That Frog. It basically the concept of that little book, which is a great book because there's a ton of information there by Brian Tracy, Eat That Frog. That's a great recommendation. It'll take you maybe an hour or so to read, or maybe however long, whatever, but it's worth listening to or reading through. But it's what he talks about in there is he says, if the hardest thing and the biggest thing that you need to do when you start the day is to eat a frog instead of procrastinating and putting it off, it becomes bigger because it's like you don't want to eat the frog, right? If you just do it right away and get it out of the way, I used to call it breaking the ice. For me, it was making prospecting calls or handing out business cards when I'm out and about doing my thing and I'm sharing, I'm talking to people. I don't ever go out to do Legal Shield. I just do Legal Shield while I'm out. But as part of that is to break the ice by starting my prospecting, because that was the hardest thing for me at first, was to like approach somebody and talk to them. And so just developing that and knowing what you're going to say, which could be as simple as, hey, you hold out a business card. If I can, I'm expanding my business in the area. If I can ever be of assistance to you, just let me know. I'm here to help. And then you can, break the ice by doing that. The more you do it, the better you're going to get, the more consistent you are, and the better you get, you'll start, getting the results. And I love what somebody said, or said, date the result. Wait a minute. What did he say? He said, date the activity. No, date the results, but marry the activity. In other words, make a real commitment towards the activity and be patient with the results, because they will come if you're consistent with the activity. So, stay married to that activity, and simply date the results, because you don't, when they happen, they will happen for you. The next thing I would tell you, date the results, marry the process. That was good. Thank you, Dana. Avoiding procrastination. I heard it said, procrastination is the assassination of your destination. So when you put something off, it hinders your progress. Okay. If you have something that's really big and it's hard for you to, and you're nervous to do it or something like that, or you're going after it, the best thing to do is to break it down to the least common denominator, to break it down into small tasks so that you do one thing at a time. And you don't look at you don't look at the entire, if you have to go run a mile, just look at the next 10 steps. Don't look at the whole mile. If that's something that's hard for you to do, just look at the next 10 steps and just break it down, manageable steps, stay focused, tackle them one at a time, and set the deadlines for yourself to get those things done. And before you know it, you're done with the task. You're done with that whole process. You've prospected a bunch of people. You've Performance Club qualified. Maybe you went senior director, executive director. And those things are, important. So the first four were setting the clear goals, developing a routine, prioritize your task, avoiding procrastination. The next one is staying organized. There's, clutter creates chaos for me. It's like when I have a lot of clutter around me, it creates like a confusion kind of a thing where it's like I can't stay focused for me. And I know that when I can remove that clutter out of the way and stay organized, I can stay focused on getting the results done. Right. So I want to make sure that I'm doing that on a regular basis. So stay organized. Just make sure you take a little bit of time. Sometimes you have to slow down to speed up. So if you slow down a little bit to get your system in place, whether that's prospecting or whatever it is, you want to make sure you're staying organized. That's number 5, Richard, stay organized. Number 6 is to practice time management, meaning, I don't know that you manage time because time marches on, right? But I think if you allocate a certain amount of time, if you time block your business on your schedule, in your daily routine, meaning I'm going to take, these 2 hours and I'm going to be focused on prospecting. I'm going to take this hour. I'm going to focus on following up with the folks that I prospected in the, earlier. And then these folks, I'll be doing 3-way calls. And then I've got to do, a bunch of Zooms or 3-ways or whatever it is, 3-way Zooms even. Those things are really important. So I try to focus on the main things in our business, and that's prospecting, presenting, following up, and allowing people to make a decision. I try, I'm not big on closing people, because if I have to close them, then that means I got to kind of like convince them to come in. And if I have to convince somebody to work, then I got to, or if I have to convince them to come in, I have to convince them to work. And I'd rather run with 100 people than carry one person. So for me, it's like, it's just simply finding the people that are going to do it because they have a big enough reason why. They have a big enough desire to become successful. So staying, making sure that you have that time block. That's number 6. Number 7 is staying committed. I started that out. Being committed to building your business, it requires that. It requires dedication and perseverance. It requires, staying focused on your goals on a regular basis. That's why I listen to my goals on my phone. That's why I'm constantly making sure that I'm staying focused in those areas. And I even build the vision boards, which is really important, because if a picture is worth 1,000 words, I put a picture of my goal, whatever that is, and I put that out in front of me. So the vision board thing, we used to, my ex and I, Amy, when we were raising our girls when they were little, we used to have vision board parties between the week of Christmas and New Year's. So at the beginning of every new year, the girls would have like their vision boards. And so we would do that and just put it I put it in my closet where it's on the door when I'm getting dressed after showering, getting up in the morning, getting going. I can see that vision board right there. So put it in front of you, whatever your goal is, make sure it's there. So stay committed, and that helps you because it reminds you each time that you go start your day, every time you listen to your goals, it's reminding you of what it is that your desire is, and you're not getting distracted from it. You're staying committed to your process. That's number 7. Number 8 would be, I wrote down, was accountability, holding yourself accountable by sharing your goals, maybe with a mentor, your sponsor, your success team, somebody, your workout partner in our business. It's like, if you hold yourself accountable, and you have other people that know it and they help you hold yourself accountable, you're more likely to accomplish it. You're more likely to do what you want to do and stay motivated, and stay committed, to the process, and stay disciplined as we're talking about that. The next process is number 9, I would say, is personal development. It's being committed to continually learning and never stopping, being a lifelong student. I think it's important for each of us to keep ourselves in the right frame of mind, especially when we work for ourselves. And we want to invest in that personal development by reading, attending different conferences. Like we just finished one. Make sure you go to your Super Saturdays. Make sure you're listening to audios in your car. I mean, if you guys saw all the digital stuff in my phone, all the different audio series, The Art of Exceptional Living, all the Brian Tracy, Les Brown's, all the information I have in there, it's incredible. But I'm constantly listening to stuff as I drive each day. I'm trying to at least listen to 30 minutes a day, and reading at least 10 pages a day. And most of the time it's a chapter a day or even more. But instead of turning on Netflix, I'm going to make sure I invest in myself, because if I'm not investing in me, and if you're not investing in yourself, who is? I mean, it's like, if you don't have your own plan, whose plan are you working, whether you know it or not? And you may not like that plan. So make sure you have the plan for your own life, whatever that might be. Okay. So in addition to that, I would say the last thing is number 10 is celebrate small wins. I think celebrating the little things sometimes, how we view our accomplishments will determine how much more we accomplish. So I think it's important, even if it's a small thing and you're like, oh, it was no big deal, I simply did that. No, pat yourself on the back, and share that and recognize your teammates and say, hey, great job. I'm really excited for you. I think one of the things, if all of us were doing this, if we all pulled out every month, we looked at somebody who either marketed a membership or recruited an associate, as well as performance qualifiers, and we just called everyone, not just sending out a text, but we call them and just say, hey, Mr. Brown, it's Michael Dorsey. Congratulations on, qualifying executive director, gold, platinum, or whatever executive director, again, you're doing great. I'm really excited for you. Or, how about, Jane Doe, and say, hey, Jane, congratulations on your success. You Performance Club qualified. I think that, like Keith and Carol Dickens, they do a great job every week because they celebrate that. They celebrate Performance Club. They celebrate and they recognize. So recognition is huge. So celebrate the small wins and the big wins. And recognize people, because most of the time people don't really get recognized, unless they did something wrong. So, when it comes to yourself, if you accomplish something that you feel good about, even if how little it is, celebrate that in some way. Whatever it is that's important to you, I think it's really important for each of us to make sure that we are, we boost our confidence, we recognize that, and it helps us keep moving forward in those areas. So I'm going to open it up to John Wynn here in a second, but I just think that the 10 things, I'll go back through them so you guys have. Number one was setting clear goals. Number two was developing a routine, a daily routine, because your success is found in that. Prioritizing your tasks, prioritizing your list of things that you need to do each day. Avoiding procrastination is number 4. Number 5 is staying organized. 6 is time blocking, making sure that you're focused on and having your time, practice time management, whatever you want to call it. But I time block on your calendar. Number 7 is staying committed. Number 8 is seeking accountability that helps you stay committed. And then continuous learning is number 9, and recognition or celebrating small wins is number 10. So that's just some of the things that I was just thinking about. I think about some weird stuff sometimes, so that's just me. But anyways, I just wanted to share that, with you, what I was thinking as we left Oklahoma City last week, and realize that we've got so many great things ahead of us. And it's just a question of what it is that you want. So I think that's important. I don't ever look at like other people. I don't compare myself to anybody else. I only try to compare myself to who I was yesterday, and if I didn't do a good job yesterday, I have a short-term memory loss, which is like, it's like they tell quarterbacks, if you throw an interception in a football game, you need to forget about it quick, because what matters is the next play. And so, if you didn't do what you were supposed to do today, okay, forget about it. Just have some temporary amnesia and move on to tomorrow and make tomorrow a better day. But forgive yourself, forgive yourself. Sometimes you just got to give yourself a break. It's like, we're not all perfect, but we got to stay focused, and we got to stay committed to our dreams and goals and our commitments that we made to each other. So, John, I know that you're on and you're a co-host. You can unmute yourself. If you do have any comments, let's go out to John Wynn. I know that you're doing a lot of great things. You just got your $200,000 ring, literally as he landed and turned his phone on in Oklahoma City. When he's going to convention, he turns his phone on. They say, "Yep, you got it." So you got the call, you got the text, and then obviously was recognized. And just, that story is so cool. I love that. So, John, anything you want to share?
Oh, absolutely. First thing, Mike, when you talked about convention, you know, convention just gets me excited. So I told the world that I'm going on a 90-day run into convention, and I'm going to get my ring. And I didn't think I got it. I was close. I was texting you, blowing Don up, and I knew I was close. But when I got it, I was like, yes, because the first 90-day run I ever went on was Larry, and it got me to ED. And for people that don't know a 90-day run, it's just basically double, triple your activity, turn everything off, Netflix, phone, all the naysayers, and just go after it. So that's exciting for me, especially coming out of convention and to have that energy after convention. And I always love to tell people, I was talking to a lady and a gentleman the other day, and I just said, look in the mirror. You got to look in the mirror. If everybody on this call treated Legal Shield like they did their job and they went every day from 9 to 5, everybody on here would be a ring earner, because that means you were out all day long sharing the opportunity and sharing this coverage with people. And it's just it would happen. So just look in the mirror and go out and do it. Even if you're part-time. When I was part-time, I looked in the mirror and I had my lunch breaks. I had the 2 days I was off, meeting with people and sharing it with people. And Michael, I feel like I'm a little old school. I have to write everything down. I have 2 whiteboards. One whiteboard is my new recruits and the recruits on the hook, and the other one is my new groups and my new groups on the hook. So I'm just kind of checking them off, like you said, and I have my dream board. I have it in my mirror in my bathroom. So when I'm brushing my teeth, I have my goals in my dream board. I'm staring at every day, and I'm looking at them. They just motivate me. And I tell people this: stay in the fire. You know, when Michael Dorsey started a call on Wednesday night going over a success book and training, I wrote down on my board, I'm not missing it. I was in Myrtle Beach last week doing groups all week long, and I was at the hotel, and I went outside and put my computer on and got on that call. That was amazing. I need that. You know, guys, because we get beat up all day long, and people say no to us, people say boo, people say this. But when I get on a call at 8 o'clock at night with Michael and people like Mr. Brown and the excitement of Mr. Smith and all these people that are out there going, it just fuels me and it gets me going for the next day. And I love the thing about the goals, Michael. My new goal is 250,000. I'm going to go after it. I've got my daily goals written down. How many do I need every day? How many people I need to talk to? I got my weekly goals. I got what I need to have at the end of the month. And, you know, we're not going to hit them all the time, but if you stay consistent on that, you know, I think it'll work for, you know, it works for me. And I'm not the smartest guy out there. I went to college. I ran a 4.6 40. I could catch a football, hit a baseball, but I'm not the smartest guy. If I can do this, anybody can do it, guys. Procrastination is the assassination of your destination. Michael, that's going on my dream board, man. So many things on here, man. Thank you so much for all the little tips you give me. I can't get enough of this. So I'm excited. But buddy, I'll send it back to you, and I appreciate you more than you know.
Appreciate you too, man. Just your story. It's like, I think about, the things that you've gone through and, would stop a lot of people. And what you have accomplished is amazing. And it's like, you're unstoppable. The only person that each of us can stop is ourselves. And so, I'm going to make, April a co-host. April Landon, she popped up in the chat, a direct message to me saying that she wanted to share a story. So April, you can unmute yourself. But John, thank you so much for your comments and congratulations on the $200,000 ring. People say, it always blows me away because they say, oh, you see people that come and go in our business and they're like, oh, that didn't work out for me. Or you talk to somebody and they go home after a presentation and they talk to their spouse or their significant other and they get spoused and they decide not to because they're all excited when they leave. They're ready to sign up, they're ready to go, and they go home and they get spoused. And it's like it's based on misinformation. So they're not, it's like it's an ignorance, but it's not ignorant. You're not ignorant. It just means that you have a lack of knowledge. You didn't know what you don't know. And sometimes you buy other people's opinion. And if you're going to do that, you better be prepared to buy their lifestyle. I learned something a long time ago before I go to April. My dad and I were doing, and this goes way back. This is like 25 years ago or more, probably 27, 28 years ago. We're doing a sit down one-on-one. We're at right across from Perimeter Mall here on the north side of Atlanta on the perimeter. We're at a restaurant and we're sitting in there and we're doing a presentation. And I go through the presentation, talk about the company, what the service does, and then a little bit about the compensation. Drew some numbers down. And this guy had a degree from Harvard, and he was super bright. And he proceeded to go on and just say why it wouldn't work. And I'm like, okay. And I look at my dad, I go, wow, I was like, what do you think about that? He goes, let's just wait a minute. So he gets up, the guy leaves, he goes, all right, follow me, let's go. So we walk outside, and the lesson I learned was, he said, Michael, don't buy his opinion because what kind of a lifestyle does this guy live? Well, he leaves in the oldest rusty bucket car I've ever seen. It's like a hoopty. I mean, I was looking at it, I was thinking to myself, yeah, I guess it wouldn't work for him. He was right. So whether you think it's going to work or not, you're right to yourself. So I knew.
Michael, I love the old saying you used to say, amateurs convince, professionals sort. Yep. We just all need to go out there and start sorting.
That's right. That's right. Just sorting through the numbers. That's it. It's like the thousand people in a single file line, if you go prospect them, you can just hand them a card saying, if I can ever be of assistance to you, let me know. And you go through 1,000, you know, and some of them are going to say yes. They want to know more about the business. They want to know more about the membership. They want to know more about the opportunity. And some are going to be, most are going to say no. Most of them are going to say no. Some are going to be rude about it. And some people are going to be polite about it. But at the end of that 1,000 people in a single file line, it meant a 6-figure income for you and your family for the rest of your life. Would you go talk to 1,000 people? If your answer is yes, my only question is, what are you waiting for? Professionals sort, amateurs convince. It's just a numbers game. That's it. And just smile about it, because we got a great service. We got 2 great services that people need, and we got an amazing opportunity. So I don't listen to anybody else's opinion, but the opinion that's in my own head. And all I got to do is go look at that Profiles of Success book. There's 400 freaking pages of people making at least almost $1,000 a week or more. Why am I going to listen to some doofus that doesn't have a clue? You know, it's like, why? I mean, they don't know what they don't know. So why would you let that affect you? What does that have to do with anything? So that's my point, is I just go, okay, well, have a great day. I'm not mean about, like, hey, have a great day. If I can ever help you, let me know. They can throw my card away. It's okay. You know, I'm not worried about it, and neither should you, because it's not about Legal Shield and it's not about you. It's about them and the place that they are in their life. They may have something going on that we don't even know about. Everyone's fighting a battle that we have no idea what they're fighting. Okay. So we just give them some grace and move on. So April, let me just send it out to you for any comments that you have.
Absolutely. And, I love that. I'm so excited. Our team's so excited coming back from our family reunion. I mean, our convention, today we've done, like, I've actually hosted 3 webinars. Super excited. I've got a couple of guests on here tonight, but, one of the questions is like, well, who do you talk to? I'm like, well, everybody, and where do you find these people? Well, everywhere. Look, I was at Costco yesterday with my daughter, and as we were leaving, we bought some food there to eat there, right? There was no places to sit. So we were about to leave. We kind of stood there for a second looking around, no tables. We're about to go out and eat in the car. And I heard this couple said, well, if you'd like, you can come share our table. I looked at my daughter. I said, well, absolutely. Thank you so much. And so we sat there for about 15, 20 minutes eating and talking with this couple. And when we were, and by the way, it was nothing about Legal Shield, of course, or anything like that. But before I left, I said, well, thank you so much for allowing us to sit here. It was such a pleasure meeting you. Of course, if there's anything I can do to help you, and I gave him my card, I said, please give me a call. And she looks at my card. She says, Legal Shield, what's that? I said, glad you asked. So obviously I said, well, we protect families and small businesses with legal plans and identity theft services. She says, well, my husband and I work for my son. You might have heard of the company, but we make ice cream sandwiches. We make about 100,000 ice creams a day. And I was
Wow.
like, oh, wow. So of course they had to give me their really cute card. And now I'm setting up an appointment with them this week. But Mr. Dorsey, you just never know who you're going to meet. Get out of your house and just go say hi to people
Yeah.
and give them your card.
Yeah,
Thanks for sharing.
absolutely. I love that. And that's what's great, is it, what was funny is, for a while there, it's like we got away from, or we were kind of directed towards like this digital thing and getting people to put their information into your app. And it's like, no. Let's just go old school, keep it simple, get you some cards made. They're not expensive, and start handing them out. Get your picture on there too. Get the best picture you can and put your name on there, and obviously your information, and just share it with people. It's not hard. I'll get Bill Walker on here next week. I know they have a 7-hour drive. They were in South Dakota. Bill and Bradley were doing a group out there. But yeah, I mean, I think it's just keeping it simple. I know we're 5 minutes over. Thank you guys for joining us tonight. We appreciate you more than you know. Let's make it a great week. And don't forget, in the chat right there, my sister popped the flyer for the Wednesday night, leadership development Zoom. We're reading the book, The 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. And this week we have, I think it's week 6 or 7. I don't remember. I know we skipped a week because of convention, but so we'll be back. It's levelupgrowthnetwork.com at 8 o'clock. So it's a different Zoom room. And what I'm going to start doing is I've opened up a Vimeo account, so I'll be able to convert it over to Vimeo. So it's simple for everybody to be able to like share it with other folks that you guys have if you want. So, all right, let's make it a great night. Appreciate you. Let's make it a productive week. Close out April strong, go into May with some momentum, and you can create momentum quickly. When you change your mind, you can change your world. All right, have a great one. Talk to you soon.